去裹住個小姐，點解要眼悄悄咁樣？Hi YouTube, this is the Learn Cantonese Fast channel again. So today I'm going to talk about a very small topic in Cantonese grammar, namely how to express your feeling in Cantonese. Well, there are certain ways for you to express your feeling in Cantonese. So remember there are 6 tones, 6 and only 6 tones in Cantonese. But then because of these 6 tones, Cantonese is actually very rigid. So whenever you say a sentence, speak out a sentence, the tones of the words within a sentence are very restrictive. You have to follow the relative tones of the words. And then so how can Cantonese solve this kind of tone rigidity problem? So let me use an example in English. For example, when we say the word international, international. So if you break it down into pitches, you say you see something like this: dun 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 dun. Okay, dun 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 dun. So you immediately recognize that the first 2 tones they have the same pitch, but the nat, dun dun dun, right? Nat has a higher pitch, and then tional, dun 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 dun. Right? International, right? Dun dun. The last 2 words, the last two syllables, they have a relatively low tones than the first and second and the third. Okay, so in other words, in English you have intonations. Right? So even within a word you have intonation, and also within a sentence you can change your intonation. So for example, if you ask a question, is it a dog? A dog? So towards the end, when you have the when you have a yes no question towards the end, you have to raise the pitch. Is it a dog? Is it a cat? Right? But then in Cantonese you cannot. Right? So how can you solve this kind of problem? So how can you change? How can you first of all, how can you change the meaning of a sentence? And then second of all, how can you express a feeling? Right? So there are several ways. Right? The first way is, well, which is very natural. So the first way is very natural, namely to speak every word in a sentence louder. Right? So it's like quarreling. Right? So if you want to show your frustration, you have to raise your voice. Well, but that's also true for English too. But so it's not really that specific for Cantonese. How about the second solution? Well, the second solution is to change the length of each word. Right, so what do I mean by change the length of each word? Right, so for example, this word hai, right? Hai, 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 hai. Right, hai is the 5th tone, which means right or true or being. Okay. So when you want to ask a question of something using the word hai. Okay, so how do you change it from a statement to a question? So in this case, we add a word me. So I'll talk about this me, something like this in another episode. Okay, so something like me is actually something I would call an intonation modifier, just like in English. Right? Is it a cat? Right? So towards the end, you have to change your tone in order to specify that this is a question. Okay, so in Cantonese, if we add me at the end of hai, right, you get what? You get hai me, hai me, hai. So hai, 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 hai. Hai is the 5th tone, and then me, 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 me. Me is the 1st tone. Right, so hai me. What does it mean? What do we mean by hai me? Hai me means, is it really true? So you change it. You're changing from a statement to a question just by adding a word. Hai me. Well, but you can even do better by manipulating the length of a tone. Right? So, for example, if you want to show your doubt, right? So someone just said something to you, but then you are very suspicious. So what you would say is something like, hai. Haime, haime. So you lengthen the word hai, haime, haime. Right? sometimes you can lengthen just the first word, but then you can also lengthen also the second word. So you have the long hai, right? You can have a long or a short me, right? So depending on how suspicious you are, hai me. Sometimes someone say something like hai me, right? So lengthen the word hai will show some doubt about the word hai, okay? And then even better, you don't even need to add the word me, right? Because you can just manipulate the first word and then skip the me. Okay, so for example, here you can say something like this: hai, hai, hai. Right, so you try to say hai, but then you are casting some doubt of this word hai. Okay, so you say hai. So notice the similarity here. Okay, so you originally have tone 5 for hai, but then eventually you have tone 1. Right, in both cases, hai me or hai i, they have the same tone structure. So both of them means really, right, so, which is very similar to English. Really, okay. But then actually when you say hai i, it actually sounds like tone 2 because it shows a rising tone from 5 to 1. Right, so pitch. Actually, I have been wrong about the word pitch. My wife just corrected my pronunciation. It's pitch, not peach. Okay, pitch. All right, so hai is actually the second tone. So you're changing the word with the fifth tone to a word with the second tone. Right? This change in tone pattern will show doubt about the word. Okay, but then I'm not sure whether this is always the case, but then there are a lot of examples. And let me show you another example. Okay, for example, 真 真真真真真真真sorry 真真真真is the flat tone for tone 1, which means real or true. Okay, so if we want to say 真係 really is, right, we say 真係 really is 真真真真真真係真係真 is really is. Right? But then how do we change it from a statement to a question? We use something like 真係真係真係 or is it really true? 真係 So it's similar to the case of 係咩 we add a word towards the end. 真係 So we change it from a statement to a question. And then how about if we want to cast some doubt to what other people just said? Then we use the same strategy. We actually elongate. We elongate the word we want to cast out. In this case, it's the 真. Right? 真 means true. So if we are doubting whether something is true or not, we say 真係真係 right? Or another strategy that we can use is even omit the intonation modifier, but then just elongate the last word. Right? 真係真係真係 Right? So it's similar to the case of 係 right? But here we have 真係 So we are not sure whether it is really or it is really true or it is not true. Right? So in this case, we elongate the last word 係真係 Right? So in other words, it means is it really true in English? So it's actually using the same strategy. We have is it really true? Is it really? Is it really true? Is it really? Right. So we use the same strategy by raising the tone of the ending sound. Right. 真係 is it really? Right. And then let me give you more examples. Say if you want to say what's wrong with you. Right. So normally we say 你有冇搞錯 Okay. 你 you 有冇 have not 搞 搞 is to stir up, to mess up. 搞 is to do something. 搞錯 錯 means wrong. Right? 你有冇搞錯 So how do you do it? How do you make a question out of it? 你有冇搞錯？你有冇搞錯啊？ Okay, we add the word ah towards the end, which is something what I would call intonation modifier. And then, if you want to stress the action of the person, right? 你有冇搞錯啊? Okay, so in some sense, you are trying to say something about the action of the person. Okay, so you're not satisfied with the person's action. You say 你有冇搞錯啊? Okay, so we stress 搞. Right? 有冇搞錯啊? Meaning that you don't like the action of the person. Okay? And then another example, 乜你咁衰㗎? Okay, 咁衰你 is you, 乜means why. Why are you so bad? 咁衰 is bad. 咁 means like this. So in this case, 咁 is equivalent to so. Right? Why are you so bad? 乜你咁衰㗎? 乜你咁衰㗎? Okay? So in this case, you want to stress so. Right? Why is so bad? Okay? In English, we have the same strategy. We stress the word so. Why is so bad? So here we have the same thing. 乜你咁衰㗎? 乜你咁衰㗎? Right? So and another example. So when you say, "Are you crazy?" Right? In Cantonese, we say 你黐線㗎 or 黐線㗎你. Right? Nowadays, people will say 黐線㗎你. Originally, it should be 你黐線㗎. Right? You 黐線 means crazy. 黐 means 黐 means connecting. 線 means wire. So there's some wiring problem in your brain. Right? 你黐線㗎. But then nowadays people will say 黐線㗎你. 黐線㗎你. Whereas in order to stress the idea that you are crazy, right? You say 黐線㗎你. Are you crazy? 黐線㗎你. Whereas we use the same strategy. Okay, stress the first word of a term. Right? 黐線is a term. We say 黐線㗎你. We don't say 黐線㗎你. No. We say 黐線㗎你. Okay, 黐線㗎你. Okay, so again, nowadays people will put the subject towards the end, right? But that's really contemporary. In the old days, we say 你黐線㗎. Right? But then I think there's a reason, because in order to stress that the other person is crazy, we put crazy first, and then you towards the end, and then by doing this, we can elongate the sound of 黐 much better. Right? 黐線㗎你. So it's easier to focus on the word that you want to focus on. And then the third strategy is to add intonation modifier, just as what I've said. So in English, when you say help me, you can say help me, help me. As a help, you can raise the tone of help. In Cantonese, you cannot. So all you can do is what? Is to add a word or 救命. 救 means save. 命 救 means save. 命 means life. Save life. Save life. Right? So you want to get the notice. We don't want to get the attention from other people. You stress the sound of Okay? So 救命啊! 救命啊! So it's similar to help me, but then in English you stress the word help. And in this case, by raising the tone or raising the pitch of the word help. Right? Help me. But then if you look at Cantonese, you cannot change the tone. That's because 救 is 救 tone 3, 命 or 救命. You cannot raise the voice of 救, right? Because when you change the tone, if you change the pitch of the word 救, you get 鳩 or 狗. Right? 鳩 is the penis. 狗 is the dog. So you cannot change, or you cannot express the feeling by changing the tone. Well, and in that case, I'm running out of time. Please visit my website www.freehongkong.net. I'll see you next time. Bye.